Dr. Mark Changizi here with your Science Moment over at Twitter and at Loopwired, and over the last 5 years I've been cataloging the anti-lockdowner freedom fighters who in fact at the beginning in March of 2020 were lockdowners. They were agitating for mandates, for lockdowns, for mask mandates, for panic. They were saying this is the super deadly, altogether novel, disproportionately dangerous virus, and we have to do everything. All of these kinds of things, and eventually, we're glad they woke up. We're glad that they woke up, but this is like the mob after they've set Judy the witch on fire, saying, "Look, I'm the first to, I think we shouldn't have burned Judy the witch, and I'm now a hero for being amongst the first people that said that I was wrong to have burned Judy the witch." There are many reasons for me to keep bringing up these lockdowners who switched over and became freedom heroes. And I wanted to walk through sort of 6 myths that my list, and if you go over to Twitter, you can find it, or at Loopwired, you can find the full list. And I recently just did a little video here where I cover just a subset of them. So let me walk through 6 myths that these late anti-lockdowners, who began as lockdowners, dispel, all right? So the first is that there was no mass hysteria. So believe it or not, there are folks who come and say, "Look, I didn't see any mass hysteria. I don't know what you're talking about." All of my friends, and they say, "We're in my part of the country." And so they bizarrely insist that they saw no mass hysteria. But yet, even their favorite Team Reality members were part of the hysteria at the start, right? I've got all the receipts. They were asking and agitating and demanding that the government do top-down mandates. So imagine what everybody else was doing. These are the folks that have, our freedom are more strongly, bound to freedom, and they still fell into the mass hysteria. So of course there was a mass hysteria if even these folks fell into it. Number 2, these are the plandemicers. The COVID debacle was entirely orchestrated top-down by elites. I argue against this ridiculous notion over and over again, but this is another way of seeing how ridiculous it is. If there really was a pandemic, then why did even the anti-lockdown freedom leaders begin as COVID freaks, even while governments were pushing calm? They were loud portions of the bottom-up forces that arm-twisted governments into doing their top-down mandates. And many of these late freedom leaders now are saying, "Look, they did it to us, and it was all top down." And Ivers Cummins is the biggest guy. It was all tops down, and he was one of these forces. He was one of the bottom up forces himself, demanding, while governments were saying, "Calm down." He was among the forces demanding top down mandates. Right? You cannot deny the bottom up contributions here, when even the freedom leaders were amongst those bottom-up forces. Number 3, the COVID authoritarianism was done by bad-intentioned people. So these are the folks that would think that everything that happens that's bad is done by cabals who are purposely doing evil, just lining their pockets or whatever it might be, that there's well-intentionedness doesn't have anything to do with this. No, but let me ask you, were your freedom warriors that agitated for lockdowns and masks at the start and then woke up, luckily, were your freedom warriors bad-intentioned before they woke up? No. Just like everybody else, they were well-intentioned. Societal level evil happens because of well-intentioned masses. That's how it happens, and that's why it's so dangerous. Number 4, another myth. Those who did this to us were sociopaths. A lot of people's view about evil is not only that it's done by these sort of mustache-twirling cabals, and they're bad intentioned, but furthermore, they're sociopaths. Something's wrong with their brain, which is utterly ridiculous. Mass hysteria, mass psychosis, these notions of crazy, when you put mass in front of it, concerns crazy at the network level. The individuals are fine. They're not crazy. These are amongst the smartest people in the world, the most educated, most rational, right? And in terms of these Team Reality members, well, all of these Team Reality members who initially pushed for COVID interventions are paradigm smart, rational people. Individually, they are smart, rational people, but they were in a groupthink. The irrational behavior comes at the level of the group. Number 5, the myth number 5, caring about freedom protects us from authoritarianism? Unfortunately, no. Even the folks who define themselves as lovers and defenders of freedom fell initially. Right? Which is why I came into this, because all these supposed classical liberals, these freedom for a decade on Twitter, social media, in the public square, and as soon as this litmus test, COVID litmus test I call it, came in, boom, civil liberties gone. Let's violate civil liberties en masse because I'm afraid. Number 6, myth number 6, we will remember and punish those who did this. Well, we forgot so quickly and so badly at the start, by April, we forgot so quickly and so badly that we immediately allowed our freedom leaders to be populated by those who had weeks before been responsible for their part in bringing top-down authoritarianism upon us. We're not going to remember who did this. We completely covered over and completely forgot the fact that our supposed freedom leaders were amongst the forces. Luckily they woke up, because there's plenty of other bottom-up forces that did this, but they were amongst those bottom-up forces that brought top-down authoritarianism upon us. We're not going to remember who did this to us when we have elevated some of those who did this to us to our freedom leaders. If you want to learn about what happened, then we have to abandon these myths about ourselves, about our heroes, and about how mass evil works. And that was your science moment.